Let's talk some World Cup. Speaking of, you're welcome. The U.S. now 2-0 at the World Cup. They have clinched their group. They will definitely be in the knockout round. And it hasn't been great for my team in our World Cup pool. You know this man, long-time successful goalie here in Baltimore, and someone who I know is very vested in Brazil's success at the World Cup. He is our buddy William Vanzela, and he's back with us now here on GCR. William, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you, pal. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, man. I'm happy to talk to you all. Happy to be back. Glad to catch up.
Hey, buddy. We talked, I remember, the morning after the U.S. failed to qualify for the World Cup, which is probably the darkest moment. I'm thinking about the juxtaposition of that to now. What has changed for American soccer? And I'm not trying to suggest that, like, they're going to win the World Cup, but it is clear just from watching Flo Balogun, just from, frankly, watching Baltimore's own Alex Freeman, Chris Richards, like, it's not just one guy. It's not just Pulisic, who we're all hopeful about. There definitely appears to have been a change at the way this program looks and what they might be capable of.
Yeah, I don't think it's just one thing that changed, but you can see there's some big steps going to the right direction, I would say, and they might not connect it. They're all over the place, but at the end of the day, they go back and connect the dots, if you know what I mean. There's more players going to play internationally, so they have better experience playing at a higher level. There's the earlier development. There's a bunch that is happening that is helping to supply players that have better quality. And to watch just USA play right now, in my opinion, obviously you have a guy that is a difference maker in the game. But now he is connecting with somebody that if you make your plays, he will tap in and score the goals. I think that's what the biggest piece for U.S. before was, have somebody that was able to score the few chances that you get. Because in the World Cup, you know, despite the easy games of the group stage, you won't get many goal opportunities. So you have to convert the ones that you get. And I think that combination it's working on benefit for U.S. And right now, U.S. has the momentum, is playing at home.
Wow.
And it's going to be quite difficult to knock U.S. out if that happens. I agree with you. To think that they can be the World Cup champions, it's tough to think that way. But if you're looking just at games and how much U.S. produced in those games and how less they got threatened, and yeah, easy games. We can talk about that Paraguay, probably worst game of their history. It doesn't matter. It's what U.S. presented, and if you're looking in the two games, they are a contender right now.
Wow. You used a word there, William. You used the word momentum. And it's an interesting word to me because now that the U.S. has clinched the group, everyone says the obvious thing to do. You tell Christian Pulisic it doesn't even matter if he could play in the next one. There's no way he does. You go to all the guys who are sitting on yellows and you say, you're all sitting for this third match as well because we don't want to run the risk of you having to miss a knockout round match. And I still think mathematically that makes the most sense, but you use that word momentum. Is there any argument to you of you don't want to mess with this right now? Like, you want to keep the vibes up, and maybe some of those guys should play to try to keep that momentum instead of running the risk of you sit everybody and it ends up being like 0-0 or maybe even, you know, disastrously you lose to Türkiye in the third group stage match?
It really depends on your roster and who you have it behind that player that you're debating or not to play. Like Pulisic, in my opinion, that's a different one. If he's injured and he's still not feeling the best, you give him another week to recover. He does not need to be on the field for that match. If he's not 100% and telling you that he's 100%, I wouldn't take the risk. The guys in the yellow, if they're, if the replacement it is a head-to-head or close, then I personally, as a coach, I wouldn't take the risk.
Okay.
And you can still get the momentum because it's not worth it. it might kill a little bit of the momentum, but you're still playing at home. You already reached what it was the initial goal is to, go over the group stage. It's a tough call. I know players would ask to play, but you don't want to lose a player that you might regret not having for the knockout stage because you played them in a game that wasn't necessary.
I completely get it, and it's notable that three of the guys are arguably your three best players to this point in Balogun, Adams, and Richards, right? Like,
don't disagree with you.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough, right? Like, I think that you're right, and then there's this part of me that like is terrified. This is the eternal rest versus rust conversation. That if they get off to a sluggish start in the round of 32, you're gonna be like, "Oh no, they should have been playing." Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, but let me just flip the coin and let you think in the other way. Now, what happens if one of these guys actually get injury and the replacement is never set the foot on the World Cup game, and now it's a knockout stage and they're going to feel the pressure? So if you play them right now and they played well, so you already feel the relief, okay, I have those options. I know those guys will take care of business if we need to. So sometimes you want them to just have the feeling of playing and break the ice and be ready if you need it for the next match.
We're chatting with William Vanzela here on GCR. William, obviously goalkeeping is your area. That was probably the biggest question mark. I think the defense was a pretty big question mark coming in, but as I mentioned, Alex Freeman in particular has been a revelation clearly for the U.S. here in this World Cup. The goalkeeping probably the biggest, right? What do you make of Matt Freese? He did allow the one goal, obviously, in the first match. He hasn't faced a lot of difficult shots otherwise. Are you nervous about that? Just give me your thumbnail about Matt Freese.
It's first of all, it's tough for anybody to go and put the number one jersey after Tim Howard retired. It's just that weight of that jersey, and since he retired, everybody feels that pressure. It's hard to replace a guy that did so much for the country in on and off the field in many components. So that's a pressure. Yeah, it's questionable, but he has been solid for what he presented. There's not much challenge. Didn't have to face much. Australia and Paraguay were not, on their final third and creating some trouble. But he responded well for the little bit that he was requested. And again, it builds confidence that you're playing well. Your back line is also playing well and helping. So I think he's gonna be there when he need it, and hopefully he can make that one save. That's usually what we talk about, right? The keeper that you wanted to have is that keeper that makes that save when you need it the most.
I also feel
we're watching the World Cup just very quickly, but how many goalkeeping, like outstanding performance that you can just go over and over, that this World Cup is presenting very strong goalkeepers all over the board.
I was gonna say too, like, do we really not even know? Like, it feels like in part of the reason why they went with Freese as the starter was really because of the knockout round. Like, it really feels like they're trusting him to save PKs or to come up with one. And there's no way to replicate that, right? Like, you can't have an answer on that until you're in that spot.
Yeah. I honestly, that's my individual personal idea. I don't think he was selected because of that.
Okay.
That might be the reason why, if it's a 50-50 between all of them, he could be, much better in PKs. But you've seen over and over in World Cups, teams changing the keepers as they're going over overtime and putting the second string keeper because he was better in PKs. So that could be also a factor if they were closing skills. There's something else that Pochettino feels better about. It might be his crosses, his ability to deal with those arrow balls. I honestly don't know. We would never know what that was for him to decide between the three of them.
I get it. I just thinking about he had an awesome performance in PKs against Costa Rica last year in the Gold Cup, which I acknowledge is the Gold
Yep.
Cup, but like it really did stand out to me as like the moment that I thought he kind of made himself the World Cup keeper at that point.
I think instead of thinking that he would excel in the goalkeeping, I think he would think of the word trust.
Yeah.
Because when the goalkeeper owns the trust from a coach that, you did something big, then the coach trusts you, and there you go. I know because you talk about Brazil, you're asking like between all the Brazilian keepers, why is Alisson continues to be the one? And the coach already said, and the goalkeeper coach said, this is the guy we trust. So the trust relationship is very big for a selection of a goalkeeper.
William, right now, how many teams do you believe are capable of winning this World Cup?
There are a lot.
I was thinking that too, right? More than usual to me.
I would agree with you. There's also the teams that you thought it would do so good at the beginning and they haven't really stand out. Like Spain, better day, but overall not. What do you think? Portugal with, in my opinion, the best midfielder in the whole World Cup, not being up to the task. Brazil don't even matter. Like we're so below what our expectations are. But there's also the teams that are gonna do well. Netherlands are very hot right now. I really like how they play. And you have Germany. Whoever plays Germany is gonna struggle. There's Argentina that it's tough. So there's like France. Again, there's like a little, I would say between 7 and 8 teams that you're like, I don't know. They have chances to go far, and maybe it's also a surprise here and there that we are not expecting. Like US is a surprise, and I think US is gonna go far. To knock out US, you're gonna have to take it, in my opinion, a 1-0 game or to an overtime. It's gonna be tough. There's Mexico with good momentum. There's a bunch of teams that can get all the way down.
It's funny because I can hear you're down on Brazil, but is Morocco a team that could win the world? Like, are they in that argument of like they could conceivably do this?
Not, in my opinion, not to win, but to give a lot of trouble to a lot of people. And whoever don't fully understand soccer and don't know the teams would underestimate Morocco. And in my opinion, before the game, my prediction was 0-0 and ended up being 1-1. So they outplayed Brazil. They had, they dominate in the midfield. They're faster. They're more dynamic. They transition really well. They're very well organized team. It's give it or take. They don't have a policy, but it's kind of like the U.S. that you're like, it's hard to beat them.
William Vanzela, we have this pool for the World Cup with some folks involved, the people that work on the show, some of our ancillary characters, and I'm not doing so hot. I'm not at the bottom. My partner Griffin's in a little bit of trouble right now, but Belgium has really let me down. They're 2 matches in. We don't have a win yet.
Yep.
I could be the loser of this thing. And you kindly agreed that the loser of our pool would, for a penalty, come spend a training session with you. Can you just describe to us, because it might be me, and you know me, I'm not in peak athletic shape. One time when they used to have me come over and do those celebrity halftime games, I nearly perished on the pitch running around in one of those things. What are we going to be in store for whoever it is that loses this World Cup pool?
Well, very happy to be part of this punishment, and I'll be gladly torture you if it happens to be you or anybody else over there. I hope you guys are already feeling the pressure of coming, because it won't be easy. I will have you sign a waiver just for legal reasons that you are going to be responsible for whatever happens on the field. But we're going to have a full training session called No Mercy, where I really won't care what kind of shape you are. We're just gonna have fun with that. I'll be happy to record the whole session and share with the whole world. That's gonna go viral.
Oh,
So looking
God, this
forward
is
to
going to
it.
be a disaster. This is going to be such a disaster. Oh, man.
To
Griffin,
you or to whoever lose, not to me.
Griffin, you're in last place
I am in last place
right now.
We have Argentina.
You still have Argentina.
They need to.
Yeah.
I might be rooting for them more than the U.S. I don't know. I I do not want to lose this. And they're my
Oh,
only team. They're my
man.
only team.
It's
that's
called
like,
No
worth anything.
Mercy. Of course it's called No Mercy. Of course that's the
Yeah.
case.
You know, for folks that don't fully understand how is the life of a goalkeeper, because you see us on the field and usually talk to any goalkeepers, they will tell you that a game day, it's usually a rest day, you know, body wise. You're locked in and very focused in the mental component of the game to make the right decisions. But the decisions that you're going to make, you trained your whole life in your whole week for repetition, memory muscle, doing the same action over and over and over. That's basically what we're going to do.
Man, this is going to be a nightmare. William, for those that don't know, where can they find you if they're looking, they got a young person in their life that's looking to become a better goalie, where can they find you and get in touch with you?
So I have a goalkeeper academy called Born to Fly, and you can just go to borntoflygk.com and it takes you to my website. Highly recommend you to go to the testimonial area section, have some parents and players that can speak on behalf of what we do. And not only we improve goalkeeper skills, but we teach them life lessons. This is what I stand up for, right? I want the sport to teach you some life lessons, to make you a better goalkeeper, but to make you a better human, to understand yourself, to understand your capabilities, to challenge yourself, to outcome problems, and, you know, and have fun during that ride. So very, very excited about younger folks that are inspired by me to do what I do with love and become better.
Love everything about that. BornToFlyGK.com. William Vanzela, love you, brother. Appreciate you, everything you do for us in the community, man. Let's talk again before this is all over. Thank you for taking the time for us.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to talk to you guys at any point. I'll be super happy to run this whole session. I'm very excited about that.
This is so
just
bad.
To think of your fear, Griffin.
God.
I hope that's not you, man. But just to think of your fear, it gets me going. I'm very happy about it.
God.
And the last thing I want to say, I'm very excited for US, how
man.
they're playing, and it's bringing joy. Not only they're winning, but they're playing really well. And that for me, obviously, a soccer lover, hopefully more people are watching and they play more. But I'm very excited to be the host and to have them playing the way they play. I hope that goes, very well and they can go really far. But for me, as a college coach, as a youth coach, as a goalkeeper coach, watching US play right now, it's such a joy.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Plus, the whole world is tasting it, and everybody's happy with how the U.S. is hosted, and it's been a summer of love to this point. We like that. Appreciate you, bud. Let's talk soon. All right.
All right. Have a good day, y'all.
William Vanzela with us here on GCR.